Can everybody see that one? Could you check that one? Yeah. And of course, that's the great that's the soundtrack of school days. School days. I got one more here. Let me bring it up. Yeah, this is we did this one for Mother's Day last year, and let me share. I just went crazy today, so get ready. All right, so this was Mother's Day last.
Well, Maccabee has come to the realization that there's been an exclusion of the mother of civilization from the creation equation. Discrimination from generation to generation with no explanation. Subtraction and division from that natural equation leads to confusion and illusion. Manipulation, fabrication, and falsification of the origination of creation. Yaga yow. Them say the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. So where has the woman gone? It's the Father, the Son, and the Mother. Without no mother, no son can born. Why would they want to leave out the mommy? Makes no sense to me. And replacing mommy with a dopey is a big, big conspiracy. Oh, mother of civilization. Oh, queen of the universe, they try to take you out of the equation. I said that can't work. In her lies the truth of creation. Yes, she has given birth. They try to take you out of the equation, disrespecting Mother Earth. When it says in the beginning, let us make man. Who is the us, them a talk? It's the Father, also the Mother. Queen Omega still has my heart. When it says create man in our image, where does it?
All right, Mother of Civilization, and that's by one of my favorite artists. It's his name is Maccabee. It's like after the Maccabee books in some portions of the Bible, and he spells it M-A-C-K-A capital B, Maccabee. All right, so I got a beautiful video from a great artist, so I feel like I'm on track here. So all right, so let's start with I only got 1,000 slides, so I'm just kidding. So hold tight. Here we go. All right. Let's see, minimize that, and we are here. Okay, so yeah, let's come on. Here we go. I hope everyone can see that, and so we're going to talk about the Black Madonna around the world. And I had to, any word that I have problems remembering what it is, or I want to find the origin of it, I just type in etymology of a particular word. I just go and, I used to have a thesaurus, but now I have Google. And so I type in etymology of Madonna, and Madonna just simply means my lady, my lady. It's old Italian, Madonna. So it just means my lady, and that's what I use in I don't know if you saw the video I made for the advertisement. I use Frankie Beverly, Lady of Magic. So, trying to keep in that theme. So we're going to talk about the Black Madonna around the world. And here's a depiction of, it's not only Madonna statues, but just, the reverence for Black women, that's worldwide, that started with creation. And so here we see a depiction of Het Heru, sometimes called Hathor, and she has the moon disc in her horns, and she has in her hand the Ankh. We're gonna talk about the Ankh as we go along, and it's just a really beautiful representation of the feminine aspect of creator. And I found this interesting. It says, during the creation process, we borrow tissue from our mother's body. That means your matter or material is all maternal. That's why in Latin, mother means mater and father means pater. He sparked the pattern. So every time you touch your skin, you're not only touching your mother and touching your grandmother, but you're also touching the first mother. This is one reason why we literally are our ancestors' life cycles. So on all continents, the Supreme Being was originally worshipped as the great Black Mama goddess. Human society first coalesced around the figure of the mother, and it was the Black African woman, the mother of humanity, and the true authors of creation, who founded the original cosmology and technology from the world's religions and science, from which the world's sciences developed. This cosmology was star science, the mother of sciences. It was global. It produced the Perneters, or the pyramids. It produced Stonehenge and innumerable other megalithic stone structures around the world, surviving to this day, all built to honor creation's great Black Mama. Although his story books dare not tell you this. The present day religious, mathematical sciences, astrology, mysticism I'm sorry, I was having a Earth, Wind, and Fire flashback. The present day religious, mathematical sciences, astrology, astronomy, chemistry, computer science are all but delusions, fragments, distortions, or corruptions of the original Black science. From time immemorial until the albino man usurped Black civilization, the primordial supreme being, I can hardly talk, was worshipped all over the world as the creatress, not the creator. And the earliest icons of God depicted a Black female with kinky peppercorn hair. This statue is actually found in, I believe, Germany or Switzerland. So what does that tell you? We were already there. We were there then. Mitochondrial Eve theory, the University of California at Berkeley, right here in California, used restriction enzymes to track the lineage of women from around the world. From the findings of scientists, it suggested that there were two common but separate groups, such as Sub-Saharan Africa and North Africans. The information from these studies was then used to come up with the mutation rate for mitochondrial to trace back to a common ancestor. And scientifically speaking, the Black woman is the only organism that possesses the mitochondrial DNA that has all the variations possible for every kind of human being on this earth. When the DNA of Black woman mutates, all other types of human beings come about. You can research this topic, and it is true. This is called the Eve gene, and it is only found in Black women. And so here's this next slide here. It has a depiction of various Madonna and Childs around the world. So this is Kemet, And I think these two here are India. This is Kemet again. This is, the early Christian church. This is a depiction of the Black Madonna that comes from Poland. And then, of course, and you know what? Everybody has the right to portray the divine in their own image. That everybody has the right to do that. It's just when you want to try to tell me or impose your views on other people, that's where the problem happens. So here, I mean, there's I have so many pictures here. Black Madonna and Child. This is not an ancient one, but this is a current one. And this is a current one here. And this is actually one of our members of WOSE. This is our sister Latrice. And I can't think, can somebody think of, what's her son's name?
I can't think of her son's name.
Yeah, it'll come to us.
That's a lovely one.
Is it Sakara?
Yeah.
What is it? Sakara?
Sakara.
Sakara.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, so here she is with Sakara. Yeah.
Sankara after Thomas Sankara.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Thank you. I knew somebody could help. Now, here, I love this one. Before, after, and way after. Yeah, before, after, and way after. So here we see, I love this one. This is Aset. It's Isis to the Greeks. And here we see, this is how you would write it in Medu Neter. And look at what the first glyph is. It's a throne. So the Black woman represents the throne. Actually, it is through the Black woman that the king was able to ascend to the throne. So her glyph is this throne. And sometimes you'll see her, and I think we have some pictures, sometimes she'll have the glyph on her head. And this is another depiction. A lot of times if you see this is not necessarily Aset or Isis, but it is Het Heru, which is representing the sky or heavens. So here's some more. So, you have to go to museums, apparently, to see these things. But these are the original Madonna and Child. Yep. Any questions, any comments? Let's see what somebody says. Beautiful, thanks.
Do you know what's the name of the museums that these are displayed at?
I am not sure. I hear an echo. Is that me? Find a way, mute yourself and let me see. Yeah, okay. You can hear me though, right? Okay. So I'm not really sure where that comes from. Let me share again. I think this might be, there's a new museum in Kemet. So the old one is the Cairo Museum, but they've built a new grander museum, new modern museum. And I think this one in the middle, these two, this one in the middle and this one to the right might be in that museum, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. They're in various museums around the world. Thank you. That's a good question.
Minister, this is Kalahari. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I think it was a set She had an awful big baby in her hand. I was listening to the radio one time, and the woman called up and said that when the kids have teeth, that's the end of breastfeeding.
Oh yeah, any mothers want to speak up? Want to address them?
I'm sure that is very true.
That's very true.
Before they have teeth. What are you talking about? Those gums are painful.
They have some sharp gums, I'm telling
Yeah, that's something we brothers don't know anything about. I will say though that I did wake up in the night and bring the child to my wife. You know, I didn't. I wasn't there. I wasn't able to experience the pain, but I understand it can be painful. All right, good comment. Any other thing? You know, something went wrong. Here we are. Here's a Black Madonna in Peru. Look at these Hispanic people. But here in Peru, they're bringing about the Black Madonna in Peru. It's interesting. But then when you look over here, something happened, something went wrong. Here, I'm imagining that this one is taking place in Papua New Guinea or someplace like that. But then in Europe, they have a Black Madonna. They come to our lands and bring this white Madonna, and then but they keep the real one to themselves. Isn't that interesting?
Very much so. I'm wondering, how does the Black Madonna figure in, I guess, what is probably Catholicism? Where is her hierarchy? How does she fit in with the Trinity and all of that? Anybody?
Well, I was raised halfway. I was raised a Catholic and a Baptist. And so, and I'm still trying to get things out of my head, but they have this prayer. It's called Hail Mary. You know, we usually think about it when we're throwing a football pass, but it's called, and it goes, Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb. So it's a patriarchal society in Europe, but they can't quite fully remove the Madonna. She grants boons, she grants blessings, and we're going to see that as we travel along in this journey. So here, right now, thank you, Brother Cat, for that question. Yes, go ahead, Mama Ngina.
And what I'd like to say is that in Christianity and in Catholicism, they kind of put the woman on the sideline. They say the Holy Ghost, the Spirit, they say everything. What is that they say? Their Trinity is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost.
Yes.
And what does that do for the woman? Because every living being comes through the female. Yeah. So I think that was probably done on purpose. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. But, the Father cannot do it without the woman. The Holy Ghost, who is that? So they just left the woman out. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's very confusing, to say the least. Now here we want to show the woman in ancient times, in Kemet and other places in ancient times before the patriarchy. The woman was the mother of the sky, and here we see a depiction of Nut, and she, if you can see this red circle here, she swallows the sun at night, and then it passes through her body. And then in the morning, she gives birth, and here in the form of Kepper, the beetle, and it means, Kepper means to bring into being or becoming. So here in ancient times, people used to think of the sky. When they look up at the sky, they would see the Divine Mother principle. And it's very kind of reminiscent of the Milky Way. So Mother of the Universe, here she is, stirring up the sky, and she gives birth to the sun. What was Maya Angelou's poem? Instead of diamonds, in this depiction, she's giving birth to the sun. So here we can see it more clearly. Here is Newt again. This, and this is, you go into a lot of the purbas or the temples. When I say purba, I mean the house of the spirit. Pur is a word that means house. Ba, spirit. So in the house of the spirit, you can see the hand on one side of the purba or temple, the feet on the other side. And if you compare it to the Milky Way, pictures of the Milky Way, this is what our ancestors were depicting. We were already tracking the stars. We didn't need Star Trek. We didn't need NASA. We didn't need, what's that man, Tesla, Elon Musk, to tell us about space. We already knew that. And we associate it with the woman. And here she is again, another depiction. And I think this really shows a reverence. So the sky, nighttime sky, full of stars, moons, and planets, covered the woman. This is also, yes, go ahead.
Did you ever listen to Ray Taliaferro?
I love Ray Taliaferro. Yes.
You ever heard him mention the black woman in the sky?
That great black woman in the sky. Yes. Yes. He would say that. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah. He would say, when he would refer to his chosen deity, he would say, that great black woman in the sky. Did you used to listen to Ray Taliaferro, Kalahari?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I did. I used to catch him. Oops. I'd wake up early and catch him. This picture reminds me of Shahrazad Ali, who says that what black women slaves would do is when they had a baby in the field, they would bite off the umbilical cord. Had you heard that, or you know anything about that?
I'm not up on that. Anybody else familiar with that that part of Ice-Tree? Anybody else heard that?
No, I didn't hear that, but I've read where African women would give birth squatting like that.
It seems like gravity,
yes.
would make the baby come down.
Yes.
Yeah. So, not only is the black woman the mother of the sky, but she's also the mother of humanity. And I caught this. This was some meme that I had to save, and somebody said I've literally never seen a fetus illustrated, ever, a black fetus illustrated ever. This is amazing. So here we have a. I'm going to ask you to mute on the way. I'm sorry. All right, and So here we have a black fetus inside the mother. It's unusual to see that. Now I think we might have talked about the Ankh, or we might have mentioned it earlier, but many times we are taught, or we look at the Ankh as, so we know it's the key of life, and we say, well, okay, the loop is the feminine principle, and the staff below is the masculine part, the phallus, and then the end parts, are the child. But really, when you compare it to the female anatomy, you see that the Ankh is really a depiction of the womb. Here's the uterus, and this here's the fallopian tubes, and these are the birth canal, portal of life.
Minister, did you see your wife give birth to your son? Yes,
I was there both times, and
I couldn't do that. I just couldn't handle that.
Really? Well, you know what? I just I knew it would be tough to watch, but I just couldn't let her go through it alone. And just as a side note, okay, when our first son was born, I guess the first one it's more difficult, so it took a lot more time. And I remember so there were three people besides the nurses and the doctor in the room. There was myself, my wife's first cousin Angela, and her sister Cheryl, and me and Angela were, like, I was on the left side of her, and Angela's on it, and we were holding her, like we had her feet, and I had the back of her neck, and we were saying push, push, and she pushed, like in 3 pushes, and Ra came out, his whole body just came out all at once. And when Kaba was born, he just kind of eased out. He just just like they would show on those birthing movies. His head came out, and then his body. It just seemed really easy. And after he was born, we were like, wow, is that it? I got a chance to cut the umbilical cord with Kaba. I was able to cut the umbilical cord. But yes, in answer to your question, yes, I was there. I wouldn't have missed it. Yeah. And here we can see, here in the Vatican, and when you compare it to the female uterus, it's there. And I don't want to, I was hesitant about showing this picture, because I don't want to get under your clothes or anything, but even the churches, the doorway to the church, when they talk about Mother Church, the doorway to the church, it's like a vaginal opening. Isn't that interesting? I'm going to pause now to see if there's anybody left after I'm showing that. So any questions, any comments that you want to make at this time? Go ahead.
All I'd say is, yeah, it was unusual to see a black baby. I don't think I have ever seen a black baby in a picture. All of the pictures I've seen are white, but yeah, I agree. That was unusual.
Yeah. Anyone else? Hey, Asata's with us. Hi, Asata. Asata's a nurse, so she knows so much more about this than I do. And Minister Amadi, what a great message this past week, Minister Amadi. You hit it out the park. Yeah, you really did.
Thank you very much.
any other questions or comments? No.
I have a comment.
Go ahead.
I don't know if you all are familiar with the sister named Dr. Jewel Pookrum.
Yes.
Dr. Pookrum, she was formerly a gynecologist, and she lives in the Atlanta area now, but she's lived in a few places. But I went to see her. I've seen her a few times, and she's really deep and metaphysical, and cured herself of cancer. And she did had an overhead projector, and she put up the woman's, the fallopian tube and everything on this overhead projector on the screen. Then she laid across the whole constellation, and it was just amazing how everything correlated. And she said that the uterus was the gateway into the uterus was the gateway into the next dimension, or into into a universe. It was pretty deep. I like that.
No question. Everyone knows this. I mean, I'm really kind of preaching to the choir today. Everyone on this screen knows a little bit of what I'm talking about, but hopefully this will go out to others. I see Mama Ngina's hand up. Go ahead.
And another beautiful thing, the female anatomy has really been just admired by a lot of people. When you look at certain flowers, especially the orchid,
yes,
the orchid looks just like the female anatomy, like that doorway to the church and all that.
Yeah, I have those pictures too, but I just, I was.
Thought you better not, huh?
I felt like I was skating on thin ice, so I thought I'd keep those on. Also, there are fruit pictures that are like that as well, but I will not email them to myself and bring them up now, because that could be. You guys get the idea. You know where I'm going. All right. Any other questions? And Mama Fania, good to see you. Any other questions this is what Ray used to say, Kat, about any other questions we are thinking about, talking about, or doing something about? Are there any other questions? Any comments? Any comments? I loved Ray, but you know what? My parents listened to it. My grandmother listened to Ray. So Ray Taliaferro, for those of you so there's a radio station called KGO, and Ray only came on like 1 a.m. It would be 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. But I worked a swing that went into a grave, so I listened to Ray a lot. I listened to Ray a lot. And when Ray first came on, I remember my parents talking about it. Somebody had sent him a package, and it was dog manure. And, it was like a package for him to give to his mother. It's just.
Wow, that's sick.
Yeah, very, very sick. This was in the 60s, when, like around 68 or something like that. But yeah, my mom, my mother, my dad, they all loved Ray Taliaferro. And it wasn't until I got to be a young adult that I started appreciating. And this, he had the information. And actually, I know this is kind of a digression, but when Julian Richardson passed away, Blanche did me a high honor by having me on the stage with a lot of the elders. So I was sitting right next to Dr. Oba Tashaka, and Willie Brown spoke that day, and Ray Taliaferro was a speaker, and I had no idea how involved Ray was in the struggle. I knew that he was very heavy with political things, and he had a great voice. He was a great singer, and he played the organ. And all of those things, but it wasn't until that day that I knew just really how powerful Ray Taliaferro was. And I think you can still, get his old shows, if you did a search on Ray Taliaferro. Mama Fania, go ahead.
Oh, I just want to say that I also listened to Ray Taliaferro. My dad listened to him, and that's how I got into the habit. And he passed away maybe in the last 2 or 3 years, kind of recently.
Longer, a little
Maybe
longer.
about the last 5 years. And
Okay, but yeah,
unfortunately, he had moved, he had relocated to
right.
Kentucky,
Mhm.
and he had gotten dementia, and
Right.
yeah, I know this is just so, it's such a tragic thing. And I want to say they found him on the side of the road or something like that, you
I
know.
think so.
Yeah, yeah.
He was the first person that I heard mention the the acronym PNAC. Ray Taliaferro broke that on his show, Project for New American Century.
Mm.
And you know, in so many of the things flowed from that, but he was the very first person that I heard mention that PNAC.
Yeah, you know what, Ray Taliaferro. I mean, this is before MSNBC and all the people. Ray Taliaferro had so much knowledge and wisdom and overstanding, and he would be on from like 1 in the morning till 5 in the morning. He would come on like, you know, so it'd be like Sunday night, Monday morning, and he would go all the way till I think it would be Thursday. Yeah. It was very powerful. Thank you for bringing it up. I really miss listening to Ray Taliaferro. Yeah. He was the man. All right. Hey, hey, look, we're back to the uterus. Okay. Thank you.
I have a question,
Yes,
Minister Imhotep. Excuse
ahead.
me. I have a question. I know in our book study, we, read through the Hosea, and we're, looking at different sacred texts, and you are doing that now on Thursdays, every other first and third Thursday.
Yes.
So and I'm always looking for something deeper than just a literal meaning or trying to look at the wording so literally. But what has there been more than one interpretation through your studies or through someone's studies that's on the line, Baba Katabazi, regarding the birth, the woman giving birth to the son?
Yes, yes, there is. And if you wouldn't mind, if you could hold your question.
Sure.
Until tomorrow. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. We're actually going to touch on that a little bit.
Okay.
Tomorrow.
You mean it's service? Oh, is it tomorrow, Thursday?
Yeah.
This coming Thursday is the SOS?
Yeah. So
okay.
Yeah.
I can surely wait.
Okay, but that's a great question. So there are thousands of Black Madonnas and Jesus all over European churches that have a history before slavery of African people. And why don't we see them in American churches? And so we have all these images of Jesus all over. The Council of Nicaea denied or forbid a Black Jesus. I'm not sure of that. If item 1 is accurate on that. The Council of Nicaea was a council that took place in Nicaea was in Turkey, and it took place in like 325 AD. And a lot of books were thrown out of the Bible, and they were really kind of concretizing. The Roman Empire was really kind of concretizing what Christianity would become. But for some reason, these Black Madonnas would remain in the churches. Now this is in Poland. These Black Madonnas are in Poland. And here I think she's the Lady of Czestochowice, if I'm not mistaken, in Poland. Here they are, altar boys, and got the incense and everything, and maybe they're blessing a boat or something, but they have this sacred icon of the Black Madonna, here the Pope was really into the, so this is like in his private room, you know, this, he didn't let everybody see this, but somehow these pictures were taken. And I like to also point out, looks like a sunburst here too. So, and here they are again. These are not Africans. These are not African Americans or people on the continent. These are people in Europe venerating this Black Madonna. Now, some of the explanations are, well, over time, you know, the soot with the candles, and this is why she turned black, you know, and so they, I mean, you know, they get all these different reasons why, you know, and Pope John Paul, the Pope before, I can't think of the one, but he looked like the devil. You know, after Pope John Paul passed away, then it went to another Pope, and then he didn't die, he retired, and then he turned it over to this Pope that they have now. But Pope John Paul, I mean, it's a lot of pictures of him, you know, venerating the Black Madonna, and here, you know, here she is again, you know. He's doing mass or something.
It's difficult to understand how they, I don't know, balanced or correlated or made some kind of sense. On the one hand, worshiping the Black Madonna and then going out and spewing the typical Christianity. It just seemed like there's a gross contradiction there.
Totally contradictory. I don't know. It's mind-boggling. I guess we need like somebody like Dr. Francis Cress Welsing or maybe Dr. Naeem Akbar or Asa Hill. You know, one Richard King, Dr. Richard King. You know, one of those great psychiatrists to analyze that, because yeah, it's a real paradox when you consider that, you know. Black women, they worship you because they know the real you, but you don't. Isn't that interesting? All right.
I think they thought that they probably had some magic power. I mean, there were powers that, even though they wanted to, you know, detest the real, you know, us, they separated those figures as being something magical and mystical, that regardless to how much they hated or wanted to admit that we were probably superior, not probably, but we were superior beings, they, just in case, they better worship it for the magic that comes from it, but not, you know, the real.
That is a very good point. Yeah, these were considered divine, and people would go there and pray and expect miracles to happen, and you know, that is a very good point. Yeah, and here, this is the latest Pope. Looks like he's playing with dolls. You know, he's you know, he's got a black doll. She's dressed up. She's got a crown on. Now, you know, the way that we've been trained, if you saw, like if I would come in with a black doll like that, you guys would say, well, look, Minister Imhotep is practicing voodoo. You know, not that there's anything wrong with that. Vodin, Brother Abaman Daly is going to come on Black Knowledge Matters and talk about that later on in our calendar. But here, the Pope has got a Black Madonna doll. Looks like he's showing it to the congregation.
And you know what I think, Bubba?
What's that?
I think along the same line as Sister Judy, they are aware of the power, because when we look back at the history, look at Jefferson, and a lot of the slave masters always had their favorite sister on the side. And that's why the white women of the slave masters were so upset with the women, the Black women, is because she knew that her husband had this favorite slave that he, coexisted with. So I think that they're well aware of the power of us as Black women. And yeah, that's the thing that they're afraid of. But
which
they're
is
aware.
which is
They're
probably
aware.
why the white women with white wives would kill those children as well at times.
At times, yeah, it was. You have to remember, it was. We were commodities and commercial interests. So they wouldn't necessarily kill them, but they would beat them. And there was a lot of abuse that's been recorded. Just going to look at some more. See, these are. I mean, when you start researching, this one here, this one on the end is in Sweden. Sweden. Black Madonna and Child.
Well, you've heard of black magic.
Yes, yes.
But maybe not in the manner that we think of. We were taught it, but I think they just hated us so much because they were not us. They couldn't be us. But at the very same token, those tokens, those statues and those particular sacred, whatever they found to be sacred, I think they thought were good luck. They had to, they had to revere it and worship it to bring themselves the luck. But they hated us, the real, the beings, because they couldn't be us. They knew that we were greater.
That's a very good point. When I was, my father was like this up until he passed. They would go in church and they would they would kneel before the Mary, and they would, it'd be like asking blessings, in your household. The mother was softer than the dad was. A lot of times you go to mom, to get favors before you'd go to dad. And in a religious sense, that's what a lot of people were doing. I know, from having been raised in that and observing people when I would go to church. And, when you'd be, I went to a Catholic school, and when you'd go there, you'd have to go to mass, sometimes twice a month, or, you'd really get indoctrinated. Here, I'm not sure who this is a depiction of, but here it's a Black woman, and she's got her locks, and various things are written, like, okay, when you see these plumes, we kind of talked about this earlier. When you see these plumes, this is Amen. And then here you see this depiction, this is Ra. So here Amen and Ra is depicted. This here is, this represents eternity. And here we have Keper, the bringing into being. So all of these things on this depiction. So a lot of holy things were drawn out. Now this is this is how it's usually portrayed. This is the Black Madonna of Częstochowice in Poland. And here, this is a painting, and I don't know where this comes from, but I think this is an old painting. And here we have a Madonna, and these people are going and getting, praying and kissing the feet. Here's another Madonna, and Black people didn't make these up. These are Europeans that were captivated by the story, Holy Mary, Mother of God, blessed is the fruit of thy womb.
I have, you know what else, Minister Imhotep and everybody? I just thought about something. Think about how the Black mother, no matter even how she fed the white folks' children, the masters. Those white women had breasts. You know, they had the Black woman. I mean, she was sacred. They wanted the Black woman to be the one to feed their children, and that they would be suckling. You know, they were getting the nourishment and the spirituality and everything. I think they just think we were lucky, like
You
the
know,
rabbit foot.
Go ahead, Katabasi.
I think I think I had read something where the Black woman's breast milk is richer and has more nutrients in it, and you know, and is better for the infant. So they probably discovered over time that the Black woman's milk was healthier, and they got better and stronger babies, and just added that into the exploitation of the enslaved people, along with the other things that they were doing. But it speaks to a lot of our hidden uniqueness, that milk is rich like that. And I was a breastfed baby, and as most of my siblings were, and it's like 7 of us. And I remember my mother categorically rejecting formula, and would suggest to her younger sister, who was birthing, to not to use the formula, to use breast milk, because they had, from their own experiences and their own observations, understood that milk was just better for the baby.
But you know, Baba Katabazi, I was trying to take it on a level higher than that. Maybe just being a woman, I was thinking that way. But I was thinking perhaps they just knew we were sacred all the time. There's just something about, we were Black Madonnas when we were feeding those children and on the slate, you know, on the plantation.
You know, there's truth in both observations. You know, I've seen pictures. There's some picture that's out. You know, occasionally people will post it on Facebook of that going on, of a Black mammy suckling a white baby. You know, that was a part of our enslavement experience. These next pictures, go ahead.
Even to the point, the JFK's, I think was it JFK? Whenever who was Lady Bird with? Was that Lyndon Baines Johnson?
Lyndon Johnson.
Yes, Johnson.
Yeah, she was named Lady Bird by the woman who breastfed her. And she said that it just sort of stuck, you know, for some reason. Lady Bird just sort of stuck, and she was always called Lady Bird. But she was a breastfed baby, but not by her mother.
You know, that's all very interesting, and sick at the same. And like Brother Katabasi was saying earlier, you know, there are a lot of paradoxes in this. You know, if you worship this woman, why would you exploit her children? You know, those are, you know, it's kind of sick and twisted. All right, these are you know, current depictions I thought I would include of the Black woman. And you know, there's interesting. So the culture still continues. So here is Het Haru. And this is a woman from the Sudan, you know, a very similar headdress. And here, we were talking earlier about the birthing stool and gravity, as Sister Thandiwe was pointing out. You know, women would squat down, and I think sometimes they teach that now. And here, we find that this was in a museum. This unique plaque was found near the temple of Dendara. It probably depicts the goddess Nut or Nut giving birth to the goddess Isis on the birth chair, while the goddess of birth with the head of a cow supervises the delivery process. So there's something that our ancestors were trying to show us in these pictures. Here we started out with this one. And this goes back, this picture here goes back at least 8,000 BC. This is a cave drawing that's found in Algeria. I believe that's where this comes from. It's certainly in North Africa. And here the woman has the cow horns and the breasts. Maybe perhaps this was during the time of Taurus. You know, maybe that's what they were, you know, and it's represented by the cow. I'm not sure, but it's very, I thought I would include this, and people still do this today here in Ghana. She's wearing that same headdress, and she's got a staff with an ankh.
Minister Imhotep, what does the word Madonna mean?
It means my lady. It means my lady. It is from the old Italian. It means my lady. And here we have some people. I'm not sure what location these sisters are from, but here they're still wearing that same headdress. And even Beyonce got in on the act. And you know what? People really castigated her when she made the video, but she was actually reaching back to something very ancient and very ancestral.
I wonder if she'd been studying, or was it some artistic director dressed her up, or has she done any research and had some knowledge of the depiction that she's portraying?
I think she has some knowledge.
You know what? So. You'd be surprised at what people know. Just for instance, you know, when I went to go see Blade, I remember I just completed a fast, a 10-day, you know, the Master Cleanser fast. Have you ever done that? The lemon and the cayenne pepper and the
maple syrup.
Maple syrup. I just done that 10 days, and my friend Albert, he's from Trinidad, and our families are close. And me and Albert, like I think me and Albert are getting ready to go to the movies this weekend. And so he came by. We went to see Blade. You know, Wesley Snipes. Mm-hmm. and when that movie opens up,
blood.
The credits say Amin Ra. You know, the Amin Ra Productions. That was his film company. You know, and you wouldn't think, okay, people in Hollywood and you know, they wouldn't necessarily be into the African centered thing. That was in 1997, I believe, when that movie came out. Yep. And so you really be surprised at what people know. Hmm? You know.
Yeah. True.
Okay.
Yeah. So whoever that is, can they mute themselves? All right. We're gonna keep on moving. Okay. So I promised it. This is. So the original, you know, okay, when they came out with the movie, you know, Captain Marvel, and they showed it was a white woman, but originally in the comic books, it was a sister, and I'm going to, let's see, I think I'll have to stop share just for a second. Bring this up. Hey, Michelle, how are you? And bring this up and show you. Share. All right. So I'm not sure how long I'm gonna let this is 18 minutes. I'm certainly not going to go that long. But I started at right when they started talking about Captain Marvel.
They have to keep on putting out books. So enter Monica Rambeau. Yeah, that's right. I did a comic book origins on this book. Check it out by all means. This is the first appearance of Monica Rambeau as Captain Marvel, the first African-American to join the Avengers. It's a great book here, and she really hit. I know a lot of people liked her back then. I know I did. I'll stand up and say, yeah, I was a Monica Rambeau Captain Marvel fan. Because not only was she here, she was in the Secret Wars. She was everywhere, man. Seriously. And this was a big deal. I'm sorry, gang, if you don't understand how big the Secret Wars were in the 80s. It stood toe-to-toe with Crisis on Infinite Earths, although I believe that Crisis was a better story. And she was not a weak woman, and she was an obvious black woman, which we're going to get to in just a little bit. Because once again, I'm wondering why in Marvel's big push did they not push Monica Rambeau? And she was sassy, she was strong, she stood her ground, and yeah, I kind of wanted Jim Rhodes and her to get together after I saw the scenes here in Secret Wars and everything. I thought that was kind of cool. One other thing is, even though she wasn't just an Avenger, at one point, she ended up leading the Avengers when they had the most difficult team. You have Black Knight, you have Dr. Druid, you have Namor. You know, this is not an easy team to lead. The only character that really backed her up all the time was She-Hulk. Dr. Druid continuously questioned her leadership throughout her tenure. Granted, it didn't last long, but she was a leader of the Avengers at one point in time. Captain America, no less, and Captain America's always been my favorite team leader. But I got to admit, the best years of the Avengers are when Wasp was leader and Captain America was kind of the second in command, and it worked. But unfortunately, like I said, Monica Rambeau didn't work out as the leader, or wasn't the leader for as long as she could have been. At least,
Okay, you get the idea. So I mean, even okay, Captain Marvel, even in the comic books, they won't put it in the movies, but the black woman was there.
She was the first Captain Marvel.
Yes.
Not Captain
I thought
America.
She was Monica Rambeau.
Yeah, that was her name. But she was Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
I think probably
Wow.
Subliminal suggestions played a role here, not wanting to represent a black female with that kind of power. They wanted to project that kind of power as through and as a white male. And that speaks to me strictly as subliminal suggestion. Happens all the time.
You're probably right, and the timing of it, and it being associated with strong women like Michelle Obama or something like that, and they actually have a problem with a sister being strong. This picture is one that I took personally. It's in front of the Cairo Museum, and the group that I was with pointed out because they were really against the patriarchy, and they were more into the matrilineal, matriarchal society, and they pointed out how here this is the per-ah, but look who's backing him up, his queen. And then when you get on the side, she's pushing him forward. And I think that's that speaks volumes. That the woman is the one that makes you the king and pushes you forward.
We're not seeing anything.
Say it again. Say it again.
We're not seeing what you see.
Oh, you're not?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. What happened? I'm very
You
sorry.
didn't share. You didn't want to share.
I didn't want to share. Yeah, that's why I made this thing. Yeah, that's good. I didn't want to keep it to myself. So let me. I'm sorry. Thank you. Speak up faster next time. I don't want to keep it to myself. That would be bad. Here's what I was showing. All right. So I took this picture in front of the Camera Museum, and I'm not sure what this is, but here she's pushing him forward. And the tour guides that I had made a point. I might have missed this. They made a point that everyone noticed this. The queen has the king's back. She's pushing him forward. All right.
In that picture also, it looks like he's leaning against her as well. Like
you know
she's
what?
holding them up.
Let's go back. Let's see. She might be. She might be.
He doesn't look like he's standing up straight.
He might be. Yeah.
On the side picture.
Yeah.
Look at his legs.
Yeah.
He looks like he's leaning.
She's holding him up. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Yep.
You know, behind every great man is a greater woman.
Is the police? No, just kidding. All right. My son has the same sense of humor. He just said that. You know, what movie was that? Undercover Brother. You know. Yeah. All right. So we're coming to an end. Until the great mother is put back on her throne, there will be no balance. Do you know that California, this is Queen Khalifa. California is named after a Black woman. That's where the word California comes from. Queen Khalifa. Now, it was a mythological queen that was written about in Spain, but they brought that over here. And the state ended up getting named after this woman, after Queen Khalifa. And, you know, I went to Disneyland, and in Disneyland in California, they have this thing called California Adventure, and there's a mural in the California Adventure that has Queen Khalifa in the mural. But until the great mother is put back on her throne, there will be no balance. And here are some great queens: Queen Nefertari, Queen Makeda, Zwaditu. This is the queen that helped end slavery in Ethiopia. Queen Nandi. Queen, of course, we're familiar with Queen Anne Nzinga of Angola. And this is Empress, I can't really pronounce her name. I'm not going to pronounce it right, but this is Haile Selassie's wife. This is Haile Selassie's wife. And of course, Queen Nefertari. And the Queen of Sheba. Queen Makeda is the Queen of Sheba. And here's another depiction of Queen Anne Nzinga. So sisters got it going on. They're working together. I noticed that more. Sisters are working together. We need to take a page. We brothers need to take a page from the sisters working together. And here's another queen. Winnie Mandela, and Queen, this is Bob Marley's wife, Rita Marley. And here's some more queens, modern day queens today. Some have passed on, some are still here working. And Stacey Abrams, is she gonna become the governor of Georgia? Over. All right.
I think she will.
Yeah, I'm hoping that she does.
Yeah, they got
Yeah.
clowns got 2 left feet down there.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I wanted to hear. That's what I wanted to hear. And then, okay, Fannie Lou Hamer, Coretta Scott King, Shirley Chisholm. Nobody talks about her anymore. Great. I think she was the first. She ran for president.
Yes, and she was the first Black Congressperson in Congress.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And
she was funny. She was funny.
Dorothy Height.
Yeah.
Sojourner Truth. She had to pull her breast out at a woman's suffrage meeting and said, "Ain't I a woman too?" You know, she had to remind, you know, of course, our great Black Moses here. And then Angela Davis. So we have some great women here.
Ask you how your test is. You gonna sit up.
This is my everyone. This is my great grandmother. This is my great grandmother, Mama Ida, one of my great grandmothers, and that's it's one of my cousins. That's his mom, Eulela. This is back in Texas. Thought I would include it, get a little personal. Oh, look who's with us here. Some modern Black Madonna and Charles. You know, who is that? Can anybody tell me? I can't think of who that is.
Sister Darnisha, and I assume it's her sons.
Yep. Darnisha, are you still on? Maybe she's not. That's Doris and Ra.
Mm.
And
Beautiful.
this is somebody in the Philippines, you know.
Mm.
We're there too. My father had this saying. Well, he had a lot of sayings, but one of them was, "Curl in the hair, we've been there."
Mm. Mm.
This is a person native to the Philippines. So, sisters, you can say, "I am the Black Madonna."
Mm.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Lovely ending.
Very good. Very good. Well done, Minister.
Yes, I am the Black Madonna.
I got one more video, if that's okay. Let me play it before we close.
Mm.
My other great grandmother.
Mm. Mm.
Everywhere I'm turning, nothing seems complete. I stand up and
My grandmother.
I'm searching for the better part.
My other grandmother. Doris.
I hang my head from sorrow so much. State of humanity. So where
My great grandmother, my great great grandmother.
Gotta find strength in me. Why's that? 'Cause I am a superwoman. Yes, I am. Yes,
My sister.
still when I'm a mess, I still put on a vest with an S so much as, oh yes, I'm a superwoman. That's right. This is for all the mothers fighting, for better days to come.
My mom.
They coming. And all my women sitting here trying to come home before the sun. And all my sisters coming together, say yes I will, yes I can. Why's that? 'Cause I am a superwoman. Yes I am. Sing it out there. Yes she is. Still when I'm a mess, still put on a vest with an S so much as, oh yes, I'm a superwoman. When I'm breaking down and I can't be found, 'cause I start to get weak, 'cause no one knows me underneath these clothes, but I can fly. We can fly, oh, 'cause I am a superwoman. Yes, I am. Yes, she is. Still when I'm a mess, I still put on a vest with an S so much as, oh yes, I'm a superwoman. Yes, she is. Oh, let me tell you, I am a superwoman. Yes, I am. Yes, she is. Even when I'm a mess, I still put on a vest with an S on my chest. Oh yeah, I'm a superwoman. Yes, I am. And I'm a superwoman. Yes, you
Beautiful.
Okay.
Mm.
So there you
Great
have.
presentation, Minister Imhotep.
Give thanks. Give thanks. Yes.
Magnificent.
Yes,
presentation.
dynamic.
Well, it was for the sisters, all right, and the moms and the great women. So I had, some of that is personal. I had my wife in there a lot, my sister, and
Mother, grandmother.
I had my great great grandmother in there.
Mm-hmm.
I had my great grandmother. I had two great grandmothers in there, and I had both grandmothers in there. So, and my mom. So tried to get everybody. Had Doris's mother.
Covered all the bases.
Yeah. I didn't want to leave anybody out,
Beautiful presentation.
Thanks.
Minister and Hotep, my mom is standing here. I said, he had you in there too, Mom. She don't believe it. So
let's play it again.
You don't believe it. I'm like,
let's play it again.
Okay.
Is she there? Okay, yeah, let's play it again.
Yeah.
Yes, I did have her in. Let's go. I'm playing it again just for you.
Okay, thank you.
That's my great grandma. My aunt, Doris's sister.
Everywhere I'm turning, Nothing seems complete. I stand up
My grandmother.
and I'm searching for the better
My other
part
grandmother.
of me.